So August 2025 is stacked, man. It is stacked this year. We got giants like Mafia coming out. We got Metal Gear Solid Delta, Senua, Saga. And all of these games are vying for attention. But the RPG that has the internet buzzing isn't from some legendary studio. It's a game that began as a solo project. It went completely viral overnight, essentially, and is now on the verge of release. This is the story of Lost Soul Aside, and we need to talk about how it went from a one-man dream to a global obsession, and whether it can possibly live up to all of that hype. So let's paint this picture back to, I'd say, 2016. A developer named Yang, being blown away by a trailer for Final Fantasy 15, decides to make his own fast-paced action RPG. Working completely alone, he puts together a proof of concept trailer in UE4 and drops it on YouTube. The internet absolutely lost its mind. The video showed off a hero named Kaiser moving with impossible speed and grace, battling monsters with a style that looked like it came from a multi-million-dollar studio. The animation was fluid, the graphics were stunning, and the combat just looked overall incredible. But the most shocking part, it was all made by one person, and that one guy angle became legendary. It was a lightning in a bottle moment that captured the imagination of gamers everywhere. Here was proof that a single passionate creator could build something that looked just as good as the biggest names in the business. The trailer was not just a demo, it was a statement. It was a dream made real, and it instantly placed an unbelievable amount of pressure on a project that was, at that point, mostly just an idea. The viral moment was the spark, but the real journey was just getting started. So that overwhelming response brought both massive opportunity and crushing stress. Offers from major companies started flooding in. Ultimately, Yang Bing found a critical partner in Sony's China Hero Project, an initiative created to support Chinese developers. This was the turning point. That right there turned the tides for everything. And now, with Sony's backing, all of the money from them, Yang Bing founded OT0 Games, and the solo project officially began its transformation into a full-fledged studio production. But the path was not easy though. The team was young, and as Yang Bing himself admitted, he had little experience making a full game. Despite the impressive trailer, this led to years of trial and error. The team had to be built from scratch, skills had to be learned, and a complete game had to be forged from that initial concept. Over the next few years, we saw glimpses of that evolution. Trailers would drop at major big events, each showing a more polished, more ambitious version of that game. The visuals got sharper, the combat became quite more defined, and the world in the game started to take shape, and the overall hype around the game got increasingly even larger than its initial self. So the development has been long, but it had an initial release was set for May, but the date was pushed to August 29th, which is fine. It gives the team extra time to polish this game, because the last thing you want is this game to come out the gates going and it fail due to technical issues. This long, challenging journey is now a core part of the game's identity. It's a story of growth, struggle, and relentless pursuit of one person's vision, theoretically deeming Lost Soul Aside to be that underdog in this story, the underdog in the major waves of indie games trying to combat against these AAA slop that we normally get. So after all of this time, what is Lost Soul Aside? For a lot of you who may not know exactly what this is, or probably was living under a rock, don't know, but hey, let me drop a little bit of gospel for you real quick. So the latest gameplay confirms it's a high-octane single-player action RPG that has absolutely kept its promise of style and spectacle. Now, talking about the combat, of course, where this game lives and breathes, and it's honestly what really drove people to really pay a little bit more closer attention to this. It's best described as what happens when Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy have a baby, and dear God, dear God, my brother in Christ, that baby is a demigod on a caffeine binge, bro. It's gonna hit like crack in the 80s, my brother. The action is fast, fluid, and stylish as hell. You control Kaiser, who is joined by a symbiotic dragon-like companion named Arena, and Arena is the key to the game's combat because it literally transforms into Kaiser's weapons. This is not just for show though. The game uses a shape-shifting weapon system where you can instantly switch forms from swords to great swords to lances and many more, all in the middle of that combo. This allows for an insane level of creativity. You can launch an enemy, juggle them with aerial attacks, blast them from a distance, all in one seamless sequence. It encourages experimentation and rewards skill with jaw-dropping attack animations. Arena also helps out with special attacks and defensive moves, making your companion a crucial part of every single fight. Now, of course, visually though, this is another thing that really took on into this, is that this game is a feast visually. Built on Unreal Engine 4, which for some of you may be quiet and, may like a lot more, because with Unreal Engine 5, as good as Unreal Engine 5 looks, it does have its performance issues. So seems like going with the route of Unreal Engine 4 or something that's a little bit more reliable, so to speak, to help boast the stunning graphics, the majestic landscapes, the highly detailed characters that still hold up. This isn't a sprawling open world game though. The developers chose a more focused linear experience with wide interconnected levels that push you towards the action. The story: Kaiser is on a quest to save the soul of his younger sister, Louisia, which has been stolen by mysterious invaders from another dimension. Now, some early reports mentioned them being called the Voidrax. That name hasn't really been officially confirmed in recent material. It's a classic setup, a personal mission that spirals into a world-saving epic story. But for many, the main draw will always be the pure adrenaline of the gameplay. So the biggest question in the room, the elephant in the room essentially is the hype justified? After years of waiting, the expectations are through the roof. Lost Soul Aside carries the weight of being the poster child for the China Hero project and a symbol for the rise of Chinese game development on the global stage. That's a heavy burden for any game, let alone one that started with just one dude in particular. Recent hands-on previews have been very positive about the fluid combat and visual flair. However, some have pointed out some rough edges, like animations don't always feel impactful, and concerns about whether some design choices might feel a bit dated. The director Yang Bing has even called it a AA game internally, which has raised eyebrows next to its full AAA price tag. That honestly is refreshing, but it also helps manage expectations. This may not be the flawless masterpiece, but honestly, it doesn't need to be. We need to go back to the time when games just used to just be fun. It wasn't trying to become the next AAA title. Like, definitely during like the PS1, PS2 days, man, where games just come out and they were just fun. Or some of them are like hidden gems. We don't always need $90 games, $80 games. Like $50, $60 games is still cool. Maybe sometimes $30, but I see the vision. I see the impact that Yang Bing is trying to go. This man is currently living his dream in reality. Like, we're watching this man's dream unfold, and I can't wait to be able to play Lost Soul Aside when it does finally come out, and hopefully to be able to cover it, because the real story of Lost Soul Aside is one of passion and incredible perseverance. It's a middle finger to the idea that you need a committee of hundreds to make something beautiful. Its success could inspire a whole new wave of ambitious creators who dare to dream big. This just might let other developers out there know, like, hey, do not give up on your dreams. Do not give in to trying to be the next AAA thing. Just make a good game and people will buy it. But the other question is it going to be the next great RPG of a generation? We'll have to wait and see. but what it represents is almost just as important. It represents the power of a singular idea, an unbelievable journey from a viral trailer to an overall global release. It has the potential to be a massive hit though, a game that's just pure, unadulterated fun, driven by one of the most stylish combat systems that we've probably seen in years. From a lone developer's dream to a globally anticipated release, the story of Lost Soul is already one for the books. After years of hype, an insane evolution, and a relentless focus on jaw-dropping action, it's finally almost here. It promises a spectacle of combat that blends the best of its inspiration that's into something new and exciting. And honestly, the final judgment is nearly upon us, man, because on August 29th, we'll actually see if Yang Bing's reality can really live up to the legend that he has inspired plenty of into the backing of this game. But what do you think about this one? Has the long-awaited cooled your excitement, or are you more hyped than ever? Could this be the sleeper hit of the year? Just let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see the full review when the game drops, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, on Outcast, I want you to stay safe out there. It's been your host, Chaos DTV, signing out. Peace.